Let's begin with the headlines. Former President Donald Trump's campaign says some of its internal communications has been hacked. Politico reported that it received anonymous emails containing internal documents from Trump's staff. The campaign is blaming Iranian hackers for the breach. This follows Microsoft revealing a group tied to Iran had compromised an email account. Vice President Kamala Harris and her new running mate, Minnesota Governor Tim Walz, have been targeting swing state voters. This week, a new poll out by the New York Times and Siena College shows Vice President Harris is now leading former President Trump in 3 battleground states. The poll shows Harris has now moved ahead of Trump by 4 points in Michigan, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. A debate is just a month away. Former President Trump has agreed to face off against Harris in their first presidential debate on ABC News in September.
She doesn't know how to do a news conference. She's not smart enough to do a news conference.
Well, I'm glad that he's finally agreed to a debate on September 10th. I'm looking forward to it and hope he shows up.
Harris and Walz have hit the ground running, laying out their vision for voters. The Democratic National Convention is just over a week away in Illinois. Tom Fitzgerald takes a look at what to expect.
Thanks. The Democratic National Committee has had to make a lot of last-minute changes in anticipation of their convention in Chicago. With Kamala Harris, the vice president, now at the top of the ticket, Democrats have been rallying around her, and they say they are energized by her enthusiasm. Organizers of the Chicago convention, though, are rushing to make changes with a recrafted program and a tight deadline. Ken Ulman is Maryland's Democratic State Party chairman and a member of the National Democratic Rules Committee. Joins us now to discuss the big picture of what to expect at this convention. Ken, good to see you again. We've been talking a lot lately. Obviously, heading into Chicago, this is going to be something that was not on the cards a couple of weeks ago. So, not to get too inside baseball into the weeds here, but what are the bones of how it actually works that a party nominates and then votes on a presidential nominee?
Sure. And thanks so much for having me once again. And thank you for covering this important moment in our country's history. You know, political parties have rules. And those rules are how a party nominates a nominee for president, nominee for vice president. And we're used to caucuses and primaries being the deciding factor in how you choose a president. But in fact, you're choosing delegates to a convention. And those delegates then follow rules in order to make their selection for the top of the ticket. And in this case, President Biden was the presumptive nominee, and he released his delegates. And those delegates are now free to choose amongst qualified candidates. And those delegates have chosen our Vice President, Kamala Harris, to be our nominee through a roll call vote, frankly, because there are Republicans in many states who were looking to file legal challenges to keep the Democratic nominee off the ballot. So all this is based on rules that each party has. And there's nothing wrong about it, but it is different than the way we're used to seeing very choreographed nominations going into a convention.
It does cause some headaches for you all, though, because some of these deadlines in places like Ohio come before your actual convention. So what were those conversations like leading up to Chicago, in that you needed to get this done before you actually even step foot in the city?
Yeah, you know, each party, sometimes the party goes first, sometimes the party goes second. So the Democratic Party goes second because of the city. We have the sitting president. Then you have the Olympics. And so you're right. There are states like Ohio who have Republicans leading their legislative bodies in Ohio that made some changes that may have jeopardized the Democratic nominee being on the ballot. So we needed to make sure we voted by August 7th to make sure we were on solid ground in having our nominee on the ballot in every state. And I think Americans understand that there's they want a choice. And no matter who you're voting for, we want to make sure everyone's on the ballot. Each major party has their nominee on the ballot. So, but that's why you have rules. That's why you have processes in place. And we're just thrilled that folks have really rallied strongly around Kamala Harris as the nominee for President of the United States.
Ken, let me ask you about these conventions, because 4 years ago, we really didn't have conventions because of COVID. We had, kind of what amounted to like a telethon for both parties. There were some questions 4 years ago about maybe we don't need to pack people into a hockey arena every 4 years. That, we were still able to nominate 2 slates of presidential contenders. These questions about conventions have been going on for quite some time. Where do you stand on this? Are these things still relevant?
I think they are. I can't wait to be in Chicago. I went to my first convention when I worked on the Clinton-Gore reelection campaign in 1996 in Chicago. And when you get a lot of people in one place, despite the fact that, we're having this conversation over Zoom, we've had a virtual nomination, roll call. As you say, conventions during COVID happened in Zoom. But whether or not it's the Republicans in Milwaukee or the Democrats in Chicago, people still want to be with other people. And there's a sense of energy, a sense of excitement, and a sense of organization that still happens when you're in person. And so, I hope we don't lose that interpersonal connectivity that as Americans, as humans, as Democrats, we crave. And so looking forward to Chicago. But I think elements of this can be done virtually like we're doing now.
I was in Chicago, too, in 96, Ken, and I still hear the Macarena running around my head sometimes because that was every single break that they had in that convention. Ken Ulman, the Maryland Democratic State Party Chair, we thank you so much for joining us here on the Hill.
Thank you so much for having me.
Good talk to you.